All right, today I want to inspire you on ways to make money with your book of some testimonials and things that have happened to other people, and to get that idea factory going in your head of how you can use your book for your business. So, we talk about this a lot about variety of different ways, giving your book away, using it for social media, repurposing your content, using it to open the door to new clients. So, I've talked about that in some other videos, but today I want to tell you how some of it actually happened to some people. So, let's start off with Andy Falco. Andy Falco, I've known for quite a long time, and he wrote a book about dog training. Now, Andy was a police officer before this, and honestly, when I met Andy, believe it or not, it was at a conference and he had to sleep in his car at the conference because he didn't have enough money for a hotel room there. And now his story is because of this book we were just talking about the other day. He did it himself. So he way back 10 years ago, he did his book himself. He goes, "Yeah, that book, the cover's terrible. Really, the book is not great." He said, "But that book generated me $1.8 million dollars." Crazy, right? Because of that book, he was promoting himself as a dog trainer and also as someone who could testify for people in court that had to do with police things about dogs. So he gets paid to do that. But he got a gig, I think it was in Dubai, that some famous billionaire guy hired him to train his dog and flew him over and paid him an exorbitant amount of money. So through the years, because of that book, it has generated him $1.8 million dollars. And I will venture to say none of that, or a very, very, very small percentage of that, was from book sales. It was all from the business that he got. So that tells you what can be possible. So I don't know if many of you know who Kern Lima is. She started It Cosmetics. I've used her CC cream. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful cosmetic. She has a whole cosmetic line, but she sold her company for, I think, over $1 billion. So you think, oh, well, she can just hang out now, right? No, you know what? The first thing she did after she sold her business, she wanted to rebrand herself and be an inspiration for people. So she wrote a book. Her first book was called Believe It. And I did say first, she has two books. The next one that came out was Worthy. She came out with that one a couple years later. She turned this into a podcast. So she has connections now with all these great people. She was on Tony Robbins' stage, I think on UPW that she spoke. So she got on all these stages because of her book. Of course, she was a billionaire. So she was able to hire a PR company, and a lot of doors open for her. But think about, why did she need to write a book? She could have just started a podcast. She didn't have to have a book to do it. She didn't need the money from a traditional publishing company to write a book, but she wanted to share her message and rebrand herself as the expert on overcoming things. Believe It is her story. And worthy, meaning that you're worthy to be able to have success. Believe It, that she had so many people that told her no, that it would never happen. And then finally it happened and she got on QVC, the shopping channel, and then sold her company, I believe, for over $1 billion. So I love her message and her inspiration. And part of it is her legacy, right? She could just leave all that information inside of her, but by sharing her personal story, it gives me goosebumps, and overcoming everything she overcame, and to share that with other entrepreneurs and people to give them hope and know not to give up. That leaves a legacy, and that is a reason to write a book. So hers was I know she's making more money and she made a lot of money by, writing her book, but really to share that message. So we have another author that worked with us. His name is Joel Frank, and his book actually helped him to do so many different things. I want to read part of his testimonial, and I know my team is going to be like, "Don't put your glasses on," but I'm putting my glasses on. So he used his book called Creating Wealth, starts with financial health. And he said it's been an invaluable tool and for helping him with his lecturing portion of his life, helping him design and teach classes like applied behavioral finance and communications for NYU. Hello, he's now got NYU because of his book, as well as making decisions. It helped him since his release. It's been a springboard to behavioral marketing consulting opportunities. So he got consulting gigs because of it and speaking engagements, he says. It's been a great conversation starter with new clients and a thoughtful leave behind gift for the existing ones. So, and he said the top things were becoming a number one international bestseller upon release. And this past year, it won the best audit book for financial literacy. And he said this couldn't have happened without Elite Online Publishing. So, thank you. Thank you, Joelle, for giving us a little shout out there. But this is the kind of thing that can happen when you publish a book. So I want you to think about it's opening those doors. It's elevating yourself. It's elevating that credibility that you're going to get by publishing a book and telling your story. I can go on and tell you a bunch of other stories of our authors that have changed their lives, how speaking gigs have opened up. We had Reggie Gray. He's the president of the Houston International Chamber of Commerce. He's based in Houston, but the chamber's international. And he just contacted me. He got 2 speaking gigs that they hooked into his book. "Oh, you wrote a book, you published your number 1 bestseller? Let's have you on. I want you to talk to our CEO group and our financial group." So, he just got that just because of his book. So, you just never know what door is gonna open and what opportunities you're gonna get that can be life-changing because of your book for your business and your career. And the other part that I love, as you know I love because I'm very sentimental about this, that it not only changes your life, but because you're telling your story and sharing things that you've overcome and your expertise, that you're going to change the lives of other people who get your book along the way. I had a guy who got my book in a Japanese prison. He was an American citizen. Can you believe it? In Japan, he got my book. And my book was about writing and telling your story and leaving a legacy. And he said, "You know what? I was wrongfully imprisoned over here, and this gives me hope. It gives me something to do while I'm here in prison, and I'm gonna write this book so what happened to me doesn't happen to somebody else." How cool is that? Right? So, I mean, I would have never dreamt in a million years that my book would be in the hands of someone that's in a Japanese prison. Oh my gosh. So you just never know where your book is gonna take you, where the phone is gonna open, a door that's gonna open, an opportunity that's gonna have because you told your story. And the other benefit is I just did an interview with a marketing company on our podcast, Elite Expert Insider. And you know what? She was agreeing 1,000%. She said, if someone came to me and they're an author, I don't even have to work with them to get more of their message going. I can take their book and say, I'll see you later. Give me your book. Let me run with it because now I have thousands of pieces of content that I can create for social media. So it's like doing that work up front. There's an author that we worked with, Arthur, and he was saying he has a book either hard, easy, or easy, hard. So if you take what I say is hard, you got to stop and do the time of investing and putting your content into a book, then you'll have all this content for years, for years and years to come. Matt Rife, I'm going to go see him in concert. I didn't even know my son had his personal phone number. That's crazy. But, anyways, he wrote a book. He got famous and he wrote a book. And guess what? Because of that book, then he went on a huge media tour because everybody wanted to talk to him then before he became this famous comedian from TikTok, but not a lot of people knew about him. So because he went on this whole media tour with his book, he opened up a whole new audience of people. I had people tell me I didn't know who he was. And then I found out I saw him being interviewed on this show and that show and on this podcast because he had a book. He wasn't just being interviewed to be interviewed. He was being interviewed because he had a book. So it opens up media attention as well. So I hope this was informative for you. I hope you got a few tips out of it. Please leave a message. Tell me what you got out of it. If it was helpful, I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're thinking about writing a book, we're happy to have you reach out to us, fill out our author submission form. We have a ton of content on all of our social media plans, all of our social media platforms. So until then, keep writing, everybody.